It's Bryan here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. In this one, talking more about preseason. It is happening this Saturday against the Kansas City Chiefs. I know the team that beat us in the Super Bowl, but hey, who cares? It's just preseason, and we're trying to see who is going to make the roster based on players that are on the verge of making it and not making it. So this could be the big difference maker right here. And if you want to know who has benefited from preseason, ask Terrell Davis from the Denver Broncos. Anyways, going to talk about it even more. Some of the players, rookies, players that have been on this team for years that could use preseason in order to boost their chances of making the roster. And yeah, let's see where that leads us to. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. Nothing too crazy for me. Let's just get this video started. But before I do, as always, please like and subscribe. That's going to definitely help me out a lot. Click that bell notification to get notified of future videos. Share this channel, share this content with fellow Nerd Faithfuls. Have a new podcast out if you guys want to check it out. Link in the description below on both Spotify and Apple. And let's get into it right now. 49ers preseason players that really need it. Well, obviously, anybody that's a rookie in the late round draft picks, they really need it a lot. So I would say a guy like Elijah Mitchell in the running back position, because a plethora of talent that we have in that position. To have a guy that's been drafted really late, that's going to be very interesting to see. We already have Trey Sermon that they already drafted in the third round. We have already great guys like Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr. It's a very crowded backfield, so Mitchell has to really establish himself and use the preseason as another edge into getting the roster spot. He'd probably be competing with, I guess, Jermichael Hasty, who took the last spot last year, in order to get the fourth running back spot, because it's pretty loaded right now in terms of talent that we got, and he has to make a big difference, and he has to have that, I guess, what they call back in the day, the stallion running back from Denver days, from Mike and Bobby Turner from the 1990s. You gotta have a stallion back, and Elijah Mitchell, from all accounts, he could be that guy. We'll see. It's a little too early to tell, but since he's a late round draft pick and we already have a plethora of talent, he's gonna have to find that big boost, that big edge, in order to make the roster during the 3 preseason games that we do have. It's imperative that he does have a great performance and he doesn't let the coaching staff or himself down. So that's a guy that I'm be looking forward to. Another guy, or guys I should say, in the receiver position, I would actually say Mohamed Sanu. I know he's a veteran player, so he should get a roster spot, but you never know. I mean, they have signed him, they have cut him before. It's not really the biggest surprise in terms of that, but at the same time, he has been looking like he's been a big difference maker in training camp and for the young guys, and I'm hoping they do give him a spot, but maybe they might let him play just a little bit just to see if he can play a little bit, because, you know, I used to comparison all the time with Emmanuel Sanders, but the difference is he was able to play a little bit more full-time minus any injuries, but he was still a very talented player, and he was a big difference maker. Sanu, I don't think he's on the same level as Emmanuel Sanders, but at the same time, if he can just give us a couple of receptions per game, then that's going to be the biggest difference right there, and that could be a difference between winning and losing a game. If he is going to be playing preseason, make the most of your opportunity. I think it's going to work out really well for him. I believe he will make the team, but do I know for sure? Not yet. Maybe preseason is his final test to be sure that he is worthy of the 53-man roster spot. Another guy to look forward to, I would say, that needs preseason is definitely Jalen Hurd. I mean, this guy has been up and down in his whole 49er career. I'd say mostly down because he hasn't even played that much for the 49ers for the past year or two now. He's only played in 1 preseason game, and yeah, that's pretty much it. He needs to show progress from his injury. I think that's a big thing for him. I've been a big fan of his ever since he came out of college in 3rd round, and we haven't yet to see him. I hope we see him this year. I hope he can be that big difference maker, be that number 3 wide receiver. I mean, he probably could be number 1 based on his physicality and his attributes, but other than that, he needs to play. He needs to show up on the field. He needs to be available, and that'll be the big difference maker right there. But Hurd, I think he'll get a roster spot, but he just needs to prove that he can play a little bit of football, minus the injuries that he has suffered for the past couple of years now. That's going to be a big X factor right there. And some other players, not really to not make the roster, but maybe for a starting position, I would say Trey Lance. I know that sounds really interesting there. Kyle Shanahan has publicly said that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the starter all the way in week 1. Trey Lance has no chance, according to him. But, you know, if he can show a good outing in the preseason, then maybe the chances could be really high. I mean, I still believe Jimmy will be the starter, but Kyle can feel happy that Trey is making some progress if he plays really well in the preseason and shows a little bit of promise. I mean, you don't have to play the most excellent football in preseason. It's pretty sloppy just because, you know, people aren't playing it super for real. They're just trying to play to get acclimated to playing football. But Trey, he's never played in an NFL game before, so this could be a very good opportunity for him to get a little bit of the feel of playing NFL football, minus the little old college days, right? But Trey, I think this could be a big moment for him in terms of being able to play well, have a lot of hype, and have even more hype when the season starts, and he'll be on the bench probably. So I'm excited to see him play a little bit and see if he can get that starting position anytime soon. But I believe Jimmy G is still our man, so I won't be banking on anytime soon, minus any crazy injuries. But I love to see him play in the preseason. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it right there for the offense. You look at that defense, you have a couple of guys that's been on the team for a while that is in and out of the roster. I'd say Kentavious Street, he's a great guy, great rotational player, but I think, he's been disappointing, to be honest with you. I would love to see him play more, but I mean, when he did get out of college, he was injured. He tore his ACL during his time at NC State, so that's pretty disappointing right there, but he hasn't really done too much for the 49ers. I hope he can. We got to see then. We have a couple more guys. Arden Key, defensive lineman, more depth. He can have a great preseason outing, but he didn't really have the best time with the Raiders. The Raiders weren't really great to him, so hopefully maybe with the 49ers he can revitalize his career here, because we've seen players that came from other teams that did really well for the 49ers for the past year or two now. You have guys like DeMontre Moore, he did really good for the 49ers. You have other role players, Ronald Blair and all those guys. So Key, he could be another man to be looking forward to in the preseason. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got right now for this video. And, offensive line, I'm looking at it. It's looking pretty solid right now. Aaron Banks, I'm pretty sure he's going to be playing a little bit in the preseason just to get a feel of NFL football. But I'm assuming he's going to be the starting right guard for the 49ers this year in 2021. That's it, guys. Please let me know what you guys think about the whole preseason period. Who are you looking forward to in this time of the year for the next 3 weeks? I'd like to hear what you guys say in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That's going to help me out a lot. I'll be catching you guys up hopefully this week even more. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day.